Okay, hello everyone. I'm IMAX, and I usually don't do talking videos, so this is going to be awkward. But anyway, I felt like I really wanted to talk about the Symmetra changes and why they're such a bad idea, and that there's nothing that's really. She just got overall nerfed, basically. Um, so if you haven't seen the patch notes, I will put them on screen right now when I talk about it. But so let's just start from the top. So the photon projector, the primary fire, the ammo increase is really nice, 70 to 100. So that's an overall buff. And no longer generating ammo from shields. Also, I don't think that's a big deal because shields are very um, non-present in Overwatch 2. So I really don't care about this change. So overall, I say this is a buff. But now we come into the really interesting part. So for the secondary fire, the projectile speed increase from 25 to 50 is great. That's such a nice change. However, they nerfed everything else. Everything else about this ability is now useless. So, damage has been reduced from 120 to 90. 90 damage. You can't two-shot any. I also want to note that you can't really three-shot people anyway, because of the healing compared to the attack rate. Like, the orbs take so long to charge, so in the time you've hit two of your orbs, they're back to above 90 HP. And that might not seem awful at first because it's a fast projectile, but we'll get to it, we'll get to it. And then we have max charge projectile size reduced from 0.5 to 0.4, which does not sound awful, but when playing, it really did not feel good at all. And also, they just look like flying blueberries. It doesn't look good. Um, so yeah, bad change there again. Then ammo cost increase from 7 to 10. I don't really care about that. I think that's fine. It's basically the same as it was before, since they also increased the maximum ammo overall. But then we have the one of the big ones. Charge time increased from 1 to 1.2 seconds. So I'm gonna explain why this is really awful. So before, 1 second was super slow because this is Symmetra's one of Symmetra's only options for ranged slash medium range damage. So having to charge an ability for 1 second before you can fire it, and also no, before it only moved value of 50, which is very slow. No, sorry, 25. So it was a very slow and unreliable 1v1 tool, which is also why Symmetra is the worst 1v1 hero in the game. Worse than Mercy, I will tell you. Um, but then they decide to increase it even more. And not just a little, by 0.2 seconds extra. That's insane. That's such a useless ability now. I will show a clip of when I just spam it, and oh my god, it feels so bad to play with. And the projectile speed increase doesn't even matter anymore because it takes slower to charge the ability to begin with, meaning who cares about the speed? You're not gonna do any damage at all. Um so yeah, from looking at these changes and playing a few games with Symmetra on the beta, unfortunately, right click is not worth it anymore. There's no point in using right click at all, except getting spam. But even then, it's 90 damage, and they're so small, so you can't even spam them reliably. So yeah, you don't need to use it anymore. Just unbind your right click. Okay, and then next up we have teleporter. So teleporter has had its build time reduced from 2 seconds to 1 second, which is great. That's a fantastic change, and it's something every sim main out there has talked about for years at this point. Great. That's such a good change. However, then they nerfed the rest of the ability to the point of where it's useless. Again. Same with the right click. So let's just start with the first point, which is a massive change. Now has a maximum lifetime of 10 seconds. This if you didn't know, when Symmetra 3.0 was first released back in whenever 2018, her TP was not permanent. It stayed for 10 seconds and then it destroyed itself. And it was bad. Symmetra was bad. Let's be honest. Which is why I'm really confused why they're deciding to go back to that. Since it obviously didn't work in Overwatch 1, so why would it work in Overwatch 2? When it... Anyway, there's more. So the cooldown is increased from 10 to 16 seconds. 16 seconds! Excuse me? This is crazy. You have a 6-second downtime of when you can't use your TP, which doesn't sound awful as a movement ability, but however, you will place down your TP most likely, use it, and then not use it again because it's so bad now. So it's pretty much, what, a 14-second downtime? That is really, really bad. And it's not even a good ability to begin with. Like, it's just a worse version of Recall or literally any survivability / escape tool. Cooldown starts when teleport is placed. Nobody cares. Health reduced from 300 to 200. I don't see the point. Like, it doesn't even last forever anymore. So why would they reduce the health? That just feels like adding what's it called? Adding damage to injury, whatever the saying is. Because, like... So in conclusion with Teleporter, it's going to take time to get used to because there's not really a clear direction on how they want the ability to be used, because it just looks like a fancy version of, let's say, Recall or whatever else, Fade, but with more risk, less versatility, slower, and clunkier. I'm also going to add that they have removed it now, but when the beta was first released, the range had gone down from 30 to 20 or something like that. I'm gonna show a clip of how far 20 meters is and how pointless and how useless that is.
This was actually removed from the patch notes later, so this was an unintended nerf. But the fact that they even thought about it to begin with is crazy.
It's so useless. So, in conclusion of Teleporter, right? It's an ability that you escape with or flank with, but that itself is not awful. However, Symmetra's strong suit when it comes to ranked is taking off angles and getting to split the team with different LOS and having spam capabilities from backlines, etc., etc., which is no longer possible because the TP will die. And yeah, useless ability. Useless ability. And the cooldown, let's not talk about the cooldown. It gets close to almost Immortality Field and Rest. Like, it's up in that level. So do they think Teleporter is as impactful as those two abilities? That's just crazy to me. Okay, let's move on to the last changed ability, which is the sentry turrets. The travel speed increase from 15 to 20 is a good change. It's not game changing, it's not bad, it's not crazy. It's just a quality of life, which is thank you. And movement speed reduction on targets reduced from 20% per turret to 15. I don't think this is a bad thing either, and I also don't think I don't really care. It's a fine change. But yeah. The main issue I have is that they completely butchered secondary fire and teleporter to the point of them not even being useful anymore. So yeah. I also want to add that when Symmetra 3.0 was first released, her TP, as I said, had a lifetime of 10 seconds, but the cooldown was 12, meaning you had a 2-second downtime, and even that was bad, and now they make it 16. Do they not see? Did they playtest this at all? Like, it would be really interesting to hear what the reasoning behind these changes were. They wanted to make her fit more into 5v5, feel better. And that to me means buffs, not an overall nerf and damage decrease. So I don't I don't really see their vision with this. And also, your the thing that made Symmetra also pretty good in Overwatch 2 was the mobility increase from the damage passive, but that's no longer a thing, so that's also kind of a nerf to her in Overwatch 2. Um, that was pretty much it, and I really hope that they change what they are thinking with Symmetra, and that they're not stubborn about it, because I've talked to a lot of Sim players, and I mean, just look at the forums. Nobody likes what they're doing with Sim right now, because it removes her interesting utility where she can move teams with TP, and makes it into a clunky escape tool that's just clunky. They removed what made Sim useful and what made her good, and just made her useless. But yeah, that was it for my rant slash why I think this is a really bad change and why I feel like they should maybe ask people who know how to play the game, and more in particularly play Symmetra when it comes to Symmetra changes, because they obviously don't know what they're doing. And it's very clear that they don't. Um, so yeah. If you want to watch me play some Overwatch 2 content and try out Symmetra and whatnot, I recommend going to my Twitch, twitch.tv/imaxelius, and yeah, I'll meet you there. Have a nice day, goodbye, and remember, Symmetra is over. Symmetra is dead.